Hey, Pumpkin. How you doing? You're not gonna look over here? I'm over here, Pumpkin. Hello. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. Hope you're doing well. I'm great. Hi, Kitten. You doing well too? Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Last day of October. I remembered. Oh, we should do a garden tour. Don't always do garden tours in October. It all just depends on how the weather's been. And this month, this year, been pretty good. Very nice, actually. So here's the deal. There's always a couple disclaimers to get before a garden tour. One, I am in 6B, 7A, St. Louis. So if it's in a pot, it goes inside. If it's in the ground, it stays outside and gets mulched, or it just dies. And that's the end of it. We don't see it again. It's just, you know, a really pretty 1 year kind of deal. Or I dig it up. So there's that. All the big palms, I have big palms, those are off to the greenhouse. Everything that's left out here is what stays or goes inside. Once we have frost, that is. Okay, second disclaimer. I've been gone for the last 2-ish weeks, and I have yet to do anything out here. So everything everybody's been seeing on the channel this month was filmed late September and then into about the first week of October. So for the most part, things have just been standing still here the last 3 weeks. You know, the week before I left, I was all focused on the garage and having the plants moved inside and the grow space, which we'll have a look at the end of the video, or maybe the beginning. We should actually, let's start with the grow space. Yeah, in a nutshell, a lot of what you see is going to be a surprise to me too. So I've been making an effort. I got home a couple days ago, and I've just been making an effort to not look around too much because, well, I figured be more genuine, be surprised with y'all, getting to see things. Now, the reason I want to start with the grow space is because having some work done on the house, some new floors and things done, and the contractor's all set up right here, and it is very hard to film. Very, very hard to film when you've got all this going on over here with the tools in and out of the house. So he's not here yet, so we'll go through here, and whenever he gets here, we'll just wrap it up and go inside. Outside. We are inside. I've been working out here a bunch. Oh, third disclaimer. I cannot turn the heater off because it won't let me. I have to go downstairs to the breaker to turn it on and off. That's a pain. So I've just been turning it on in the morning from the basement, turning it off at night so it doesn't burn the house down. I'm getting a new one. I wouldn't recommend that Dynaglow. It's the second one I've had in 2 years. No good. So there's going to be some background noise. Here's everything that's been moved in. I don't think I've moved much else in since the last video where I was moving plants inside. I've been playing around with some new grow lights, or things labeled as grow lights that maybe probably are not actually grow light. It's from Sansai. It's labeled as a grow light, but it says 4000K on there. What are your thoughts on that? It's not typically what you see with something that's sold as a grow light, but I guess for blooming and, but you know, it's possible. Why isn't that on? Let's see, is there something wrong with the button? No? Okay, I don't know. It's working. Alright, so I have moved in a power palm. This one had to sit outside for a few more weeks because it was covered in mealy bugs. So I pulled it all the way out of its container. In fact, I need to pot it back up into the container. So it's sitting in there, and I did a complete and total just soak. Drenched it, and did that twice a week apart, and it's looking pretty good now. I'm still going to have to keep a close eye on it because this thing, it's just so dense that's really hard to get them all out of there. So if it comes down to it, I will prune off everything except for the center spears on this, which I've had to do before, and it's been okay with that. I probably shouldn't have it hanging out here with all the others, but this is where I set it, so it's where it is. Look at how much growth this guy's got on it over the years. Really, so much trunkage in there. I love the power palms because they get these cute, freaking tiny, scrawny little trunks on them. The house plants and the tropicals, some things that are out here like the Sansevieria, Sayuri, I think. That's going to go inside. I have a rubber plant over here. It did a good amount of growing. I repotted it, I don't know, a month ago. Push out a couple new leaves to appreciate the repot. I have a ginger in here that's going to get moved. A lot of things aren't in their final spot where they'll be hanging out until wintertime, that is, except for the coconuts. So I have the coconuts set over here. They did well on this table last year. Well, half of them did. No, 4 of them did well. 1 of them died. The other one was riddled with some kind of fungus. I don't know what it was. I treated it, and it just, I don't know. It wasn't looking good. I wanted to get rid of it. I didn't know what I was dealing with there. So it's out of there. I have upped my UV sterilizer in here. By upped, I mean replaced the bulb. I think I had skipped replacing the bulb last year, which you shouldn't do. This is all full of fish poop, and it's great. The plants love it. This is what I water with during the winter time, fall through spring, really, when the plants are in here. But I think that may have contributed to some issues over there, so I added a new UV sterilizer bulb, and I have another filter I'm going to put in on here too. Bubble tube, going full blast. I finally got a new pump down here. This one's working much better than the old pump. Got a new light put in there. Looking beautiful. I think they're going well with that. I have a cactus arrangement that was made in a video last spring hanging out over here, some Christmas cactus. I went ahead and I left the annuals in some of the pots. Figured we'll just see what they do. That's a cutting from a Cordylan Verticasa Harlequin. I just popped in the soil. Just gonna have to see what happens over there. Let it root into place. Agaves and some of these guys, they were all in this area yesterday. The Camadoria, who are Tepelote, pretty sure that's how you say it, they're looking good. They're looking real good. Look at the inflow. It's getting ready to push out on here. I saw some of these while I was gone out of town, which I'll do a video on, but that were just real. They were big. I mean, they just don't get huge, but they were good 6-7 feet tall and just covered in the flowers. They were so pretty. I'm looking forward to getting to see mine do that in the future. Same with the king palm. Saw some spectacular king palms while I was gone. Again, there'll be videos with those king palms in them, and made me really happy to have my little baby guy here. I'd like for it to put on some more size. It's taken its time, but sometimes that's just what they do in the beginning. The Montgomeryanas, they're just chilling. Nothing new with them. They put on some growth over the summer. Now they're in here. These did great in here last year. Very well. All the palms on this table were very simple and low maintenance, and they grow fast enough that I think one of these had a little bit of spider mite on it, and I just cut the frond off and treated the rest of the plant, and it didn't care. It didn't skip a beat. Some of the fronds looked pretty rough come springtime, but again, they grew so fast. Within, I don't know, a month, it just looked like it had never had any issues. It was flushed, full of new growth. Have the crotons out front here. This is the mother. Oh, what are you? What kind of bug are you? What is that? Does anybody know? What is it? I think that was just the exoskeleton of a mosquito or something. Anyway, it's mother and daughter croton. They have really cool leaves on them. Always super sturdy in here. My favorite, why can't I remember your name? Mr. Freckles, the Freckles croton. Mealy bugs, been treating it. I have a new systemic, I'm going to try this, and it looks like it's working. The mealies that are in there are browning up and graying up, which generally means that they're dying. So that's good, but still discouraging. Mealybugs are just part of it. I've always had a mealybug issue, so it's just something I deal with, and I just have to go through and treat frequently. You know, about every week to 2 weeks this time of year, and then I stop for a couple months, and like last year I didn't have to do much treatment at all, but then somehow over the summer when they were outside, things just got covered. That's not usually how it goes. Usually when they're outside I don't have any problems. I have a Cordylan Harlequin that I brought in here. I like to have these around in the grow space as my magnet for the mealybugs, because they love these plants, and that way I can just have something that really is drenched with the systemic. I can easily pull and spray and put it back. It tends to pull them all into one place, and then I can attack them more easily. So nothing else with that one, just bug issues. Dracaena Reflexa, this one got repotted in the springtime. It was looking pretty shabby when it got repotted. And I think it really enjoyed that. It's looking a lot better now. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about just a second ago, because I got a phone call and I had to... Where were we? Yeah, I know it's not Christmas yet. It needs to be repaired, getting it fixed up, printing some new antlers for it. As far as everything I've moved inside, I pretty much just moved in all the little stuff, because that tends to take way longer than moving the big plants inside. So, got the aeroids up top, way up top. I moved this shelf up higher, so they're up higher now. I do have a lot of fans in here, but it used to be that you could really feel the heat when you stood up on a ladder. But I have added additional airflow. I have 4 fans, plus another fan behind the heater and another fan down there to hopefully break that up and make the air more even. But I don't know, I just figured they need the least amount of attention, the aeroids, so that's where they are. They were in here all summer. I didn't even move them outside. They don't like being moved, so I let them stay up there all summer long. These guys over here have a tie up there, and then the begonias, and just, you know, things that are fairly low maintenance that can just stay up high and I can give them some water. They don't need much. Down here, it's smaller things that I need to keep a closer eye on. A lot of cuttings or the orchids. I did mention, so it's been about 3 weeks. I don't know how long it's been since y'all saw the video that I'm talking about, but it's been about 3 weeks since I had brought these in, and I set this xanthosoma on the table. It had been completely cut back. This was a very big, huge xanthosoma, lime zinger. It was maybe, I don't know, 4x4, and I completely trimmed it back, said spider mites, washed it off, and said I was going to keep it on the shelf until I saw some growth out of it. It takes up a lot of space. It's going to go over here probably. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of rearranging going on. But it's not something I have to worry about just yet, because our forecast has been pretty good. We have one night that's saying 36 coming up, but then it's going to warm back up. And everything that's outside can take 36. Everything I haven't moved in should be fine with it. I may go ahead and just pull the Monstera and the Croton inside. But the palms, they can handle, they can take brief frost. All of them can. So I don't know. They'll probably be fine. I'm not that concerned about it, because we're going to warm back up right after that. Everything that's in here, though, probably, well, I don't know. The Mongaves, the bottom shelf, I have agaves, Mongaves, Sansevieria, have a Amorphophallus down there, geranium. They usually do well on this bottom shelf. I'm noticing things aren't drying off as quickly as I would like them to down there, so I think I'm probably going to move this circulation fan that I have up here down there, because I don't like how damp everything is. It's been a few days since I watered, and things are still looking pretty moist. Despite, I mean, there's a breeze. Everywhere you go in here, there's a very gentle breeze, but it's not enough for that bottom shelf. That's where the succulents are, so we need to handle that. Oh, this is a new Monstera. Really pretty one. It's called White Devil? No, White Monster. I always want to say White Devil. Don't know why. I got this one from Carnivoro, yeah. There will be a video on that. I think maybe the video that comes out after this one. I have this new guy and another really pretty new plant that I got a few weeks ago. Everything else that's over here is just things that I had to prune back, bring in. Some of them are responding very well to being moved in. This guy over here, blooming its head off. Looking great. The Mickey Mouse, or the Albo Xanthosoma. I think it's really liking these grow lights. So I haven't tried these grow lights before. Or no, I have. I got them late last winter, and I had them on this bottom shelf down here, and it fried everything. Wasn't a good move. So this year I moved a bunch of lights around and put them up here with plants I think are going to do much better with them. The Oncidium orchid, it's getting ready to bloom. It's the Sherry Baby. New leaves coming up on a lot of things. I need to come through here and cut back all my old orchid blooms. They're not looking too hot. I don't think there's much else to report on with the house plants, because they've only been in here for a few weeks. So there's not much to say. Oh, there's some buds coming up on the aloe. That's exciting. This one is Safari Rose or Safari Dawn, Safari Sunrise aloe. Not seeing any buds coming up on that one just yet. Hopefully sooner than later. Some new growth coming out of the Musa Florida over here. I had to cut that one way back. Pachystaches lutea. This one got dug up a few weeks ago, and I wasn't sure because I really didn't get a ton of the roots on it, but it seems fine. I might go ahead and dig up the rest of them and bring them in, depending on how much space I'm going to end up having. That's, one of those things where I just kind of have to sit back and slowly move things in. I'm doing it by priority. Whatever I love the most comes in, and then whatever doesn't make the cut doesn't make the cut. And I offer those plants up for people to come and get and take away. I have another Thai constellation over here that I like in this spot, and they do well over in this corner, but it was just too big. I already have a Thai that you'll see outside that's just massive. And my contractor was talking about his daughter's Monstera, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? I grabbed my snips and just cut the end off, stuck it in a pot with some moss and said, take it. Because they grow so fast. The Thais, the regulars, they get big so quickly. Once they have a stem size that's of a certain girth, I'm like, please, just take it, because I already have all these others. So that freed up some space, let some more airflow in here. I have a Maxillaria. Look at this freaking orchid. This thing is a beast. I've had this for, I don't know, probably well over 10 years. I need to divide it up probably, but maybe I don't. It seems perfectly happy like this. Down here I have plants that I really just sort of need to leave alone. So I have an aloe that I'm trying to reroot over there, and some more agaves, the aspidistra. Don't want to give that too much water, so it's down there. I could move the Sansevieria and some other things down low, but I kind of like having these up higher where I can see them. Anthuriums hanging out on the table. And then back here with the waterfall, I have philodendron something, and then another anthurium, and then of course the Lego Strelitzia. Because why not? Always fun to have some onesie. Oh, and apparently a pink flamingo. I don't remember putting that there. Apparently I did. I'm not mad about it either. Pink flamingos are fun. On the desk, there's not much to report on. Cactus, it's done some growing. This guy's, he's looking good. So yeah, that's everything that's been moved inside. Oh, a sweet potato. Dug this up when I was moving plants inside. That wasn't a video. And, well, it's not happy about it. I came back from being out of town, and this is what it looked like. I had it hanging up there. I moved it over here because I'm thinking about maybe, I don't know, sticking it under one of these lights that's brighter. I don't know. I'm not all that worried about it. I have others that I took cuttings of and I stuck them in the pond, and those are doing well, so yeah, I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, the rest of the space will be filling up fairly quickly. Like I said, a lot of these things are going to move. The parlor palm will go on the shelf back there. This guy goes back in that corner over by the iguana's enclosure, and then there'll be the Eureka palm, and then I have a whole bunch of other smaller palms that are going to go right here, spindle palms and bamboo palms, and then the big croton, and then the big monstera, and the big dracaena, the arborea. We'll go outside and look at all those things. Driveway. Well, looking like a driveway. It's driveway things are happening. The windmill over here. This guy did a good amount of growing this year. I was about ready to call it quits with this one. It's always just been so sluggish and just blech. But I put it up on drip this year, and it just thrived. So the trick was to put on drip and to stop fussing with it and leave it alone. Mule palm was supposed to get repotted this year. Never got around to it, but I bought a new pot for it, so it's a step in the right direction. We'll get it done. In fact, I probably will just go ahead and do it. It's the best thing to do. These things have become these things. I had two. They become very difficult in the wintertime. Their soil, it's draining too quickly. It's hard to keep them hydrated, so even though it's not the best time of year to be repotting them, I think I'm just going to go for it. That way it at least has some fresh soil around the root mass. And whatnot, the recurvifolia yuccas. Looking cute, being eaten alive by this frickin', what is it, summer, autumn, no, it's an invasive clematis. My favorite clematis, don't care how you say it. Don't know where it came from, just showed up here. I pull these things all year long, mostly in the springtime. And this one, it's been a beast. It's eating my honeysuckle life. I think the best way to handle this would be to next year or this fall. I'm gonna pause for the airplane. I think I'm just gonna have to cut it all out. The honeysuckle too. I need to clear this entire space in order to really get rid of it and just have a year where there's no vine, or just do an annual vine and start over again. Because it's been a beast. I have not been able to get it out of there. I pull and I pull and I pull, and I've been doing it all freaking year. And I just cannot find the base because it's wrapped in there with the honeysuckle. It did a good job disguising itself in there. And in general, this whole spot needs a revamp. This time of year, it's not getting enough light. So things start to look pretty bad. The hibiscus is the mosquitoes, whatever you want to call it, the hardy hibiscus. And it did some growing, and it did some flowering, but now it's all blech and sad. Partially because it's not warm. The day lengths are a lot shorter, and, well, it's shaded an awful lot over here. I don't really know what else to do about this. It's really the best spot to put it. Same thing with a hydrangea that I planted back there this year that I think may have just died. I think it may have just been completely smothered out. But I'll just have to wait and see what happens in the springtime. I have another one of those over here, these berry white hydrangeas. And this one's looking good. It was smothered some, but I managed to get a lot of the stuff off of it. Although it has mostly defoliated. But it's still alive. So there's hope for that one. Just next year I'm going to need to keep things more open around them. Which I knew when I planted them in these spots, but I was just, the plant things happen. There's still a lot to do out here. I need to cut back these Hilo Beauties. The Chinese fan palm, people always ask me about this. So I will leave this one on the ground, cut it back, and dump a bag or two of mulch on top of it. They can come back for you if you mulch them very heavily. If you can keep their roots from freezing, they will come back, but you just don't expect much out of them. So by the end of a growing season, depending on where you live. But here, I would expect that maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 4 to 7 leaves that look like this, about this height. Not a lot of this stuff going on up here, and they don't wake up until very late. So maybe June is usually when I start to see a spear come up out of the ground. So you have to decide if the juice is worth the squeeze for you. I don't care if it comes back or not, but I'm going to go ahead and mulch it, and we'll see what happens. I already have the sable miners and the needles, which you'll see. But if it comes back, that's great. That would be wonderful. You know, I've had a lot of plants come back that you wouldn't think would return. So Alpinias, they come back on rare occasions. Heck, I had a heliconia return for me one time. It was in a very, very, very well protected spot. And I've tried over and over again to repeat it. Not happening. No, that's never going to happen again. But it was fun when it did happen. What's left over here? I have the Lutea alocasia, which is just a stunner. No. This is the Lutea. Dragon Bone is this one, which is very similar to the Lutea. That's just the Lutea. And you can see it's just like the dragon, or the Lutea with a Portora or something. It has a more rippled leaf on it. Really pretty yellow vein. Nice looking yellow vein. Hydrangea trees are done. They did their thing. Now they're done. You know, fall. I leave those. Those brown mop heads can stay for a long time. Over here I have a lot of things set up that are just waiting to either go in the ground, be set up for fall, winter, spring type planters, or to go inside. So this is the Dracaena arborea, which I was told when I bought it, it was much smaller, that it was a Dracaena Draco, but over the years I've watched it grow and seen this floppy nature of the foliage, and that's definitely not a Draco. It's an arborea. Regardless, it's a beautiful plant. Did a lot of growing this year. Very sturdy. I have, like I said, a lot of these are clearance plants. We'll be doing things with those in videos at another time. Croton. It's leaning, as it tends to do, but I'll stake it up, take it inside. Here's the garden without all the things piled in front of it, and it's still looking pretty dang good. The impatiens still up and flowering. Bananas still doing their things. The cannas, they're starting to dwindle. I'm ready to cut those back, but I've been waiting until I did this garden tour. But I would like to get them out of there. It's just too much. And this time of year, I would like to open things up so I can see what I need to do in here better, because there's a lot of mulching to do. I'm not going to mulch the bananas. I skipped it last year, and they did just fine. It's just one less thing to have to do. These are Baju. Oh, wait, I am going to mulch them, because I planted Unionensis and Bulbicianas in here. Those are going to need mulch. Well, I'll mulch those. I'm not mulching the Bajus. And then in here, I mulch the gingers, and I do protect these sable palms during the winter time. These guys, you know, I don't usually do a November garden tour, but I think I probably will this year, because it'll give a chance to really see some things that are hidden by a lot of these dang vines and just things that have grown up in front of them. Sable minors, these things grew so well this year. They got big, they flowered, they put out an inflorescence. This one right here got a nice bunch of seeds on it. They've been in the ground for about 4 years now, and they've easily tripled to quadrupled in size. So that's what I'm saying with the Chinese fan palm back there. I don't know. I'm not doing a lot to try and keep it alive during the winter, because I have these. And it's not the same aesthetic, but I don't know. I like them more. They're bigger and they have stiffer leaves. So, you know, if the windmill or the Chinese fan palm survive, great. If not, I have all of these, and they're very big and they're beautiful. Spindles waiting to go inside. I do have some Chinese fan palms I'm giving away, some that are going to go into the grow space, and this whole garden bed is full of things that are either being given away, thrown away, or just haven't gone inside yet. So we can't really see the garden here, but you get it, right? We've got the purple Tradescantia in the front, dragon wing begonias in the back with the summer pink caladiums that filled in this spot very nicely. This was bugging me back a few months ago, because there's just a big bare spot in here. So I dropped a couple of those corms from the summer pink caladiums, which are just lovely. They get huge, and they filled it in very, very nicely underneath the heptacodium, which is, I think, having its best year yet. It's not supposed to have this banana growing in there. I actually tried to remove the banana from the spot this year, and I missed a chunk, and well, that's what happened. You really gotta dig deep to get those out. Next year, I won't allow that in there. It's just, I don't even know. You know, sometimes things just happen. You go, oh, where'd that come from? That's what happened with that banana. But the Temple of Bloom heptacodium, Seven Suns flower, has these beautiful catkins on it. So these are the leftover bases of the flowers that it had back in August and September, and the pollinators just love this tree. I have it pruned up very nicely. I've spent the last few years being very tedious about pruning it and limbing it upright to get that nice vase shape on it, and I think it's just about where I want it. So next year I'm going to be doing more focusing on getting some more branching up top on that one. Gingers, well, they're done. The hedychium, when you get closer back to the edge of the house, still got some spikes on it. I don't know if anything will happen with it. The day lengths are so short now, but maybe. I don't know. Be fun if it did. It did very, very well this year. I have a whole bunch of new mums over here because there's a produce stand out here called Andy's Produce. It's not out here. It's actually quite a bit away. But they had to deal 5 for $25 on these big 8-inch mums. Got 5 of these things for $25. So there's one here, one there, one there. There's another one hidden over there. And I got a couple little guys mixed in there too. I have somewhat hidden them, unfortunately, by plants that I'm going to be working with to make things look great out here for the fall and winter times. I have some new things here. A lot of new things y'all haven't seen, but I don't know. They aren't tropical plants. It's use various red twig dogwoods. I think this one's called Cardinal. I don't remember what the other one's called. I decided to work with them. Look at this guy down here. Isn't that really pretty? Autumn Inferno Cotoneaster. I always want to say Cotton Easter. That's just what my brain does. It has really pretty berries on it. So I'm going to be working all of those things in and around this area and the seeding areas for the winter time, just so things aren't so blech once the plants go inside. That's always a challenge, is having things look really pretty year round when you live someplace and where things get really cold, and you also have a garden where a lot of things die all the way back to the ground. So I have focused the last few years on getting a lot of perennials in the ground and evergreens and those things. And I have to an extent, but still, like the big plants that just like to go boom right in your face are plants that die down. The gingers, the cannas, the elephant ears, the bananas, and then, you know, the annuals, the impatiens and some patients. Those can't. What am I going to do to make anything look like this during the winter? That's not happening. So this is mostly brown during the winter time. There is a needle palm back there in the sable miners and a magnolia over there. That helps. It adds some interest. I did plant some sting arbs on each side of the fence. Well, you've seen each side of the fence. How do you think those are going to look? I'm guessing not too hot. I didn't think that went through very well. But I have some others planted in other spots, so not all is lost there. The alpinias, I haven't moved them in yet. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to. I probably will. This one is one that I've just really enjoyed over the last few years. I took this inside last year. I just like it because it has these really big, thick leaves on them. Really big paddle-like leaves. But they're not as big and paddle-like as they were a year or so ago. So, I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. We will see. I don't know. Still something I'm thinking about. This one over here, the variegation is much, much, much better on it. Isn't that just beautiful? Yeah, we'll see. They're easy enough to keep inside. I cut them back to where, you know, they're like maybe a foot, 18 inches high, and I just set them on the floor of the garage where they will get hit, or not even hit by water, where they will get water that runs underneath the containers when I'm watering everything else, and that's it. No lights over them, nothing. They come back out looking pretty scraggly, but then within a few weeks they go, oh, and they just explode with new growth and end up looking fantastic. You needing a stake? Oh yes, this one needs a stake. Brugmansias, I need to move these, so I don't forget to move them inside. Still have not gotten this pot glued back together. Need to do that, need to get on top of that. Things are looking pretty bare over here. I normally come in and do other containers in these pots for the winter time, but I for some reason just don't feel all that obligated to do it this year. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. The alocaceas, these are Borneo giants. I need to dig those up sometime in the next few weeks. They can take some frost, so I'm not in a rush. If a frost knocks off the foliage, that's fine. But it'd be ideal to get them dug up and thrown into some containers before then. I've been going through and slowly pulling plants from over here and then rearranging some things to set up for winter time, and then I went out of town. So everything's a mess. Considering what's been going on and that I've been gone, things aren't as messy as I would have thought they would be. I've been doing a fairly good job about staying on top of the cleaning after I do the projects. The impatiens in here are ready to be pruned back. I just figured I'd wait until after the garden tour. They're done. Look how scraggly they're looking. You know, if there's no reason to keep them in here, go ahead and cut them out, and that'll give me easier access to the Alocasia portoras and all of these summer pink caladiums. I do want to let them store all of those during the winter. I don't want to leave those out here. I really liked how they did, so it'd be worth holding on to them. The tie, this is the big tie, the big one. It's freaking huge. I love that. I love the nice big huge tie, but man, does it take up a lot of space. Lots and lots and lots of space. It goes all the way back there. We'll get a better look at that when it's time to move it inside. It's hard to get to. That Robolini palm that I got in the springtime. I'm going to take this end set inside this winter. Just cut it back. I'll move it into the grow space and probably just let this one go. And then next year, this one will go right there, and I can buy another one to keep in this container and just rotate them like that. It's just, they take up a lot of space, and they're very heavy. And I can usually find them for relatively cheap, too. So, there's that. Hold on to one, but not both of them. I keep forgetting to talk about this one. It's the Musa sycamensis. It's now being sold as Hardy Red, I think. Well, I planted it here in the springtime. I put some other things. There's a Florida Sunshine Elysium down there. I don't know what happened over here. I'm wondering if the dog or something jumped in the spot while it was gone. Everything is all flattened out. We've also had rain. That's a big update. So that could have something to do with everything laying down. But anyways, the Musa, it did great this year. This is its first year in the ground. It was only about 3 feet tall when I planted it, and that thing is just freaking huge. Not the warmest spot in the garden, though. So we will see. That I definitely do need to put some mulch on top of. Oh, I don't want to forget to talk about this guy either. Look at this one. Look at how big. Look at this thing. This is the Alocasia stingray. I've grown stingrays for a long time. This is the biggest I think I've ever had one get. Really seem to like this spot. So I am going to dig this one up and take it inside for the winter time, depending on how it's doing health-wise. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I thought that was something. It's not. It's just crustiness. It's worth it. It's easy, too. You cut everything off of them. You just leave a nub, and you dig them up, knock all the soil off the roots. I'll let that sit dormant for, I don't know, maybe 2 months, and I'll pot it back up in the grow space and move it outside around April, probably. Same thing with that lutea back. The luteas, that's going to stay potted. This guy right here, I will pot up and see if I can keep it growing actively, because I've never tried to overwinter this type the way I was just talking about. So, yeah, I don't know. Seems risky. Everything out here has just done very, very well this year. I'm really happy with the growth on all of the plants, especially this guy right here, who you can see I need to do some pruning on it. Yes, some things were pretty windy while I was gone. Nope, that's not going to happen. That's not going to pull off of there. Oh well. I don't know how to explain to you how big this is. It is huge. Absolutely gigantic. It's pushing probably, I'd say 14 to 16 feet tall. That's my best guess anyways. I'd say it was about 4 feet shorter than the palm that was there, and that palm at the bottom was 20. I think it's like 25 feet tall. So, yeah, something like that. It doesn't matter. It's big. It did great. Effortless. Just toss it in the ground and grow, right? I planted it up with some compost and a little bit of continuous release, but that was about it. I only fertilized it twice. I was not good about fertilizing this year. I'm curious to see how the calla lilies do out here this winter. They're marginally hardy here. So, now this is, again, though, this area from here and over, not a warm spot in the garden at all. Anything that I really want to survive needs to go over here. But I just thought, well, I haven't tried callas over there, so we'll just see. That soil, the soil over here is very, very sandy and moist, which just doesn't bode well for winter survival. It means that things are going to be wet and wet and wet and cold and wet. Sand does improve drainage. It also does retain some moisture too. Sand stays wet. You ever build a sandcastle? Sand holds onto water. Occassional palms are still looking very nice. They will come inside this winter, probably. Haven't fully made up my mind on that one yet. I moved all of the fish, and actually there's one in there. Still a shabunkin left in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. No. These don't have to come inside. Goldfish, they can take the winters here in a lot of places. But I don't think that this was meant to stay full of water during the winter time. So I figure, since I have that pond set up in the garage, they're fantail goldfish and a few comets and joaquins. You can just scoop them up. It took me 30 seconds to scoop the fish out, minus the one I still need to get. May as well take them in instead of risk this whole thing breaking. I'd rather drain it and put a tarp over it. It just seems like the smarter thing to do. Chinese fan palms, they're still looking good. These can take quite a bit of cold. It's not really until we have ice and temperatures that are well below 25 for a period of time that they start to look bad. I'm going to attempt, at least here's the plan. It's not set in stone, but I think I'm going to attempt to, I'll probably pull them together, wrap them up. I'm going to put the heat cables around the pots and then set these inside of the pop-up greenhouse. Last year, that greenhouse never fell below 15, and 15 will kill these. But if they're wrapped with those heat cables and everything, they might be okay. And then I can order a large tarp to throw over that greenhouse if it gets that cold. When it got down to 15, it was like -2 outside, even though I'm now zone 7. We drop below 7 every year, or below 0 Fahrenheit every year, I should say. We are zone 7, that's what I meant. Yeah, we don't need to go into all that. I do it every single garden tour. Not worth it. I want to see what will happen with them. I think it's worth a shot. And then everything that's left over here are things that are either more cold hardy or things that are left for fall planting or to be given away. Those sorts of things that I repotted or propagated, multiplied. The fig, Miss Figgies over there, and just some other things I'm saving for bonsai. Lots of palms that got repotted this year. Fun things. The lemon ball cypress and things from last winter, those are over there. And then all that's left to take inside is really over here. So there's little Washi, the big Areca palm, who's just doing great. It'll be way too big to get inside this year, so that's gonna be interesting. And then another Washi right there, and then that other foxtail palm. I decided I'm not taking this banana in. I'm not going to. It didn't do it for me. I usually really like the super dwarf Cavendish Acumenitas, but I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I just didn't like it. So I'm not going to waste space on it. It's not coming inside. All the roses that got dug up from the front yard, I dug up all these Colorscape Flamenco, I think is what they were called. And I replaced them with drift roses, and they weren't looking too hot. And I was talking about in that video how I really should have cut them back, but I wasn't going to. Because I didn't want to sacrifice the size and the flowers, because roses will keep blooming and stay evergreen here for a pretty long time. And I wanted to be able to maintain some of that. So I took 3 of them and just left them. I hit them with some root stimulator, kept them in a spot where they would get shade in the morning and a little bit of sun in the morning and then some shade, and then filtered light in the afternoons. They haven't been getting really bright sun because they need to reroot, and they're rebounding now. Over the last few weeks, they're really starting to look a lot better. The cooler temperatures starting to roll in. Did I say roll? You know what I meant, right? Roll. That's made them look very happy. Those are going to look great over here this year. I'll have the roses placed around in this area with the shrubbery. I just like the texture of the roses, even when they don't have a lot going on as far as flowers go, or even foliage. I like the shape. Not on all of them, but on a lot of them. And these, they have a nice sturdy upright growth. They're not really all that wild. So I think that those will look nice tucked into different spots out here. The other ones, and I think this is really the last update to give. It's crazy, but no, there's just not much going out here this time of year. The other ones, the other roses, ones that I cut back, they're over here, and they're looking pretty good. So here's one of them that got cut back to just nubs, and this is all the growth that it's put up. Yeah, roses, they're just so freaking excellent. It was not the ideal time of year to be digging, cutting, and transplanting roses when I did it, but it was the right time of year for me to get those drift roses planted out front. It's a project that I just had to get done. And so I knew I was taking a risk, but it worked out. They're looking pretty good. I have the others, they're set in here. Find some of these other guys. Let me see if I can't get in here. I have all these lovely clearance evergreens sitting out here. I got this azalea for $7. Or no, this one was $3 for this Encore Autumn Lily. Not my favorite. My favorite's the Autumn Carnation, but I'll take it. That was a good price. Yeah, there's the other roses right here. They have a really nice glossy foliage on them. And they're very floriferous, and they have very nice rose hips. The hips are great. Pardon all the shadows. It's tricky to film this time of year. I'm doing it off my phone, which I just realized it's not hot. I could have used the nice camera. I got into the habit with that heat of just using the phone, but I could have brought out the Sony. Well, oh well, that's fine. You get it. This is just a walk and a talk anyways, right? Not trying to get too cinematic. Just want everybody able to see what's going on. There's the other roses. These are awesome. These were clearanced. They're Thuja Bale John. That's not the name. Oh, Technito arbs. These are an 8 to 10 foot high by 4 to 5 feet wide. You can see they have a pretty cool shape on them. And I like them because of the color. Let me get out of the way so you can see it. Look at that color. No, maybe we'll try it over here. There we go. Look at that color. It's more of a blue than just a green that you would get from your typical just regular Occidentals. Or your regular Plicatas, like right here. It's just an emerald green, a Skarsgård. It's just, you know, well, it's green and lovely, but I thought that color was really nice. And they were just a few bucks. Love that. Stocked up on a lot of bushy things to place around the garden. And a weeping cherry that's going to stay in a pot. I'm not putting it in the ground. Once again, moments later, don't know what I was talking about. Had to help the contractor. Had some questions about some things, some tiles and things. I mean, that is essentially everything, though. This is going to be the last tour where all these things are out here. I've never had things go until November. It just doesn't happen around here. It's not often we make it to November. Making it through November, it's rare. Usually by the last week of November, we will have had frost. Usually we have frost by October 15th to the end of the month. But this year, not so far. Contractor said that he saw frost on people's roofs when he was coming in this morning. So I guess we had frost last night. Well, it was 42 degrees, so that's what my sensor says. I don't know. Having the pool here does help a good amount too. So when we have the nights it's forecasted to be in the 30s, I'm probably just going to crank the heater up, and it creates a heat dome out here. I just do that for one night. It just saves me, some time. Gives me another week or two until I have to move things inside. Not always. If it looks like it's going to be 30s, 30s, 30s for days on end in the lows, that is, or the highs, but if it's going to go on for a while, then I just go ahead and move everything in. It's not looking like that's going to be the case. We're just going to have a little dip. It's going to warm back up for 7 to 10 days. By warm back up, I mean be in the 40s to low 60s, 40s at night, low 60s during the day. Finally getting some of those nice fall temperatures. It was interesting this year. We haven't been having much fall the last few years. What's been happening is it's summer and it stays really, really warm. This year, really warm and no rain for about 3 months, almost 4 months. And then we just, out of nowhere, have it get really cold. That happened last year. It was late October, early November, where it was like, oh, it was very pleasant. It's in the 70s and 80s all of October, and then just ice storm in the upper 20s for a few days, and then it warmed back up for the rest of November. It's frustrating, but it's just, it is what it is. And it's becoming easier because I'm trying to garden a style that goes more with it instead of against it. So a lot of the tropicals, if they go on the ground, I'm just saying, okay, these are probably not going to go inside. And trying to just keep things around that are more hardy, it just makes life so much easier. I still have tons of the houseplants and everything, but that's because I love gardening and I love houseplants. So that's just the way that works out. And I move them out and adds a nice tropical vibe to everything. And then, at this point, I might need to buy a couple new gingers next year. Don't know. I'll probably pull them in, though. I usually do. And then the rest of it's just whatever happens impulsively at the nurseries. But I'm really happy with the way the garden is looking these days. I don't think I need to do a lot more other than, popping some annuals here and there and occasionally some new shrubs. The needle palms, almost forgot to talk about them. Look at them. This one got some paint on it. That was an oopsie. I was spray painting a pot right here and got that on the palms. But these are a good 6 feet tall. That's exciting. It takes them so freaking long to put on sites, especially this far north. I've had these forever. I'd be devastated if something happened to them. So these get protected. That's a whole different video. I can do a different video if you would like on what gets protected and how and when I would protect them. The Chitalpa, and it's one extremely long growth. I don't know what to do with that thing. It's fine. Can't wait to see what it's like next year. It'll either die all the way to the ground or maybe resprout low to the ground. I don't know. The planters, I didn't want to talk about those. So this one did have that sweet potato vine growing out the front. I pulled it. Everything else that's in here is looking really great. This is a Super Petunia Vista Cool Jazz Super Petunias. It's not the brand. That doesn't matter. It's petunias in general, and the Calabrax, they tend to really shine when things get cooler, at least where I live. Not frosty cool, but when we start to have cooler evening temperatures, that tends to revive them from their summer slump, and they look nice. And I really like that Cool Jazz. It has really nice cool tones to it. The Kupfia, I might dig this up. I've never tried to bring a Kupfia inside. This is a Vermillionaire. But when I was out of town, I was seeing some Kupfia that were like 4 feet tall. The Vermillionaires. And I just can't stop thinking about it. And how awesome that would be. How much the hummingbirds would just love it. And I would imagine it would probably be pretty easy to overwinter. I don't know why. It's just a feeling that I have, which means absolutely nothing. Don't take my advice that this would be easy to grow inside. I do not know. I've never tried it. But I think it'd be worth a shot. Because I would like to have one that's even just like 2-3 feet tall. That would be so cool. So I do need to remember to dig that up. Everything else that's in this pot with that crabapple, those are perennial. Ooh, do not want to forget about this staghorn fern. I need to move that inside. everything else is it's just looking good. Things are happy and healthy and coming together for the fall time. Oh, I started to peel off this green paneling that went all the way across. I don't like it anymore. It's looking junky. Started peeling it off. Now I just need to get back here and get the rest of that off. I'm probably going to replace this with like acoustic paneling or something different. Something that's not plastic greens. It was nice to try something new, and well, I did it, and that's been done, but I'm gonna do something that I think would look better. Yeah, okay, that's everything. You know, when it comes to plants, I could walk and talk and look at these things all day, but there's no point. It's the last looks of the garden, and it's fall glory, right? So next time we're here, next time we do a garden tour, it's just gonna be the hardscapes and probably a lot of things that have gone blech and flushed down to the ground. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Hope everybody's doing well. Having a great day, a great night, and it's going absolutely beautifully for you. And of course, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.